And welcome to our live studio audience for another exciting edition of And here we go with round one.
COVID vaccine is free and easy to get. You don't need insurance or an appointment to get your vaccine. Vaccines are available at many locations near you.
And now we're going to double the value.
The COVID-19 vaccine is always free of cost. You can visit pharmacies, community health centers, and other health providers in your neighborhood.
And now for the lightning round.
The Delta variant of COVID is a mutation that has health experts worried because it's twice as contagious.
Then for our finale.
The best way to protect yourself from the COVID Delta variant is to get fully vaccinated. Get your vaccine today.
Find out more at kingcounty.gov/vaccine.
Mga kaibigan, ito po si Kuya Bert Kawili.
And this is Miles Salvador from Australia.
And I'm Norb Kawili, also known as Norbcam.
Kung gusto niyo po ang latest news and events from the Philippines at the local Filipino community, Radio po.
We play Filipino music and interview guests from all around the world.
And I'll keep you updated on the latest Seahawks and sports news.
Kaya always tune in. Radio every Tuesday, 1 to 2:30 p.m. Pacific Time on Rainier Avenue Radio App.
And in YouTube and Facebook. Salamat po.
It's a toy drive to support Atlantic Street Center. Bring down a new unwrapped toy to the Columbia City Theater all week long between 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. These toys will go to support a happy Christmas for a deserving child. It's a toy drive, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Columbia City Theater all week long. Please bring down a new unwrapped toy and make someone's Christmas special. Support our toy drive, which supports Atlantic Street Center, 120 years of serving our community. All of these toys will be in the hands of children who love them and need them. All of these toys will get in the hands of kids who really appreciate it. It's a toy drive, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., 4916 Rainier Avenue South at the Columbia City Theater. Bring down a new and unwrapped toy. Thank you and happy holidays.
Rainier Avenue Radio.
It's 7 o'clock. You know what time it is. Time for LidLine Sports. Welcome, everybody. Another edition of LidLine Sports. I am Pep, my man O. What's happening, O? How you doing?
What up, man? I'm doing all right. I'm shaking this sick bug, man. It got to me.
Oh, okay, because you looked a little angry. I thought I had to kind of kind of get out of the way. I was getting a little worried for a hot second.
Yeah, man, the sick bug got me. I know it's going around the city, man. Stay out the way, Pep. Hopefully it don't get you.
Oh my.
It definitely got me.
Yeah, I know. I've been wearing my mask at work, so because I don't want to get sick. So yeah. So we had a lot of stuff going on this weekend as far as the world of sports. We had of course. Look, I also want to owe you an apology because, hey, what's up, Bill Walker Jr., Rhonda Dorsey, what's happening? Because we didn't get a chance to get to the NBA last week. So the NBA is going to be one of the early segments. I promise you're going to get to it because I know you got a lot of stuff to get through. And, of course, we just had the in-season tournament final. So you're going to tell us who won that. I won't spoil it, but I'm sure most of the people already know. Of course, we're going to get into the Seahawks and the NFL latter half of the show. But I want to start off, of course, and I also want to get into some Heisman stuff and the UW. I want to start off real quick with Shohei Ohtani making his choice over the weekend. It was, from what I found out, it was down to the last two. It was between Toronto and LA.
That was funny, right?
Yeah. And so in the end, the LA Dodgers secure the victory. They get Shohei Ohtani for astounding 10 years and $700 million. Wow.
The money is. We knew the money was going to be there, especially with a team like the LA Dodgers.
Mhm.
Knew what it was going to take to get him. Now I know people who are looking at that money and they're wondering, "Sheesh, that's a lot for a baseball player." But remember, guys, he is one of the best hitters in baseball, and he is an ace pitcher as well.
Right.
Paying him for both. Next year, he will be just designated hitting because he is coming off Tommy John surgery. But after that, I assume that he will step into that Clayton Kershaw role and will be their ace for years to come. About a number or the top 3 order of this team next year will be Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, and Ohtani.
Oh yeah,
And
that's a Titanic 3 right there.
Really scary. Mookie Betts is coming off pretty much an MVP season. Cunha wasn't playing as well as he did, and Mookie Betts would have won MVP. We know what Freddie Freeman does when it comes to hitting. He's a 300 hitter. And then now you follow it up with another 300 hitter plus 40 to 50 home run hitter. Man, it's not rich get richer, Pep.
Yeah, and the Dodgers might not be done because Yamamoto from Japan is coming over, and he's an ace over there.
Yeah.
And if they get him, man, they'll be
I
set.
don't know. My thing, my internet went out. I don't know if did you explain his contract?
Shohei's?
Yeah.
No, I didn't get into it yet, but I did find out that he's deferring $68 million of the $70 million that he's going to get per year.
Yep.
So he'll get the rest of that in installments from 2034 to 2043. He'll get those deferments interest free.
Yes. So now that leaves the Dodgers room to keep making those big moves, just like you said. Pitcher coming from Japan who was an ace pitcher. Now they can go get him and go add other star players over the next 10 years to add on with Mookie Betts and Shohei Ohtani, man.
Yeah.
So, like I said, for me, what that tells me when it comes to Shohei Ohtani, that the number one reason why he did chose the LA Dodgers is because he wants to win. And he's helping them doing that with getting deferred payments as well. So, shout out to Shohei Ohtani for doing that, for helping out the Dodgers organization. But I really thought that the Blue Jays and Ohtani thing was starting to gain traction.
Well, I had heard on Friday that he was on a plane to Toronto.
Exactly. That's what I thought too. That's what I heard too. So, but I know a lot of people, a lot of insiders were saying all offseason that the Dodgers were the favorite.
True.
To get Shohei Ohtani. I was just so conflicted because I don't like the Dodgers. So I did go there for that.
Blasphemy as far as our boy is concerned.
Granville.
I said that's blasphemy.
Yeah, exactly. But then on the other hand is, I don't know if I really necessarily want Shohei Ohtani to be in the AL either, still going to the Toronto Blue Jays. So, for me, it was lose-lose. I didn't want to see that. If he would have went to somewhere else like the Padres, or I would have been cool with that. But after what the Mariners have been doing, you knew he wasn't going there. They get offloaded money. The Mariners saying they're going to make moves coming up here soon. Ain't nothing to be made yet. So
Bellinger's the big name now.
Yes,
but also I'm hearing that they'll probably go out. They might try and get Rosarena. And Paredes from Tampa. So we'll see. But they also just recently said they're not trading Wu or Miller.
Okay.
So then what are you going to do then? Because you need a bat. What the heck?
Well, my thing is too is you're not trading them. That leaves us now 6 pitchers in when Robbie Ray gets back. So I mean, why not?
Well, he probably won't get back till
July,
probably late summer.
Yes.
I'm hearing, if at all. So yeah.
And
So
then we
it
also
shouldn't
have
be and plus he's got a rehab and
so
get himself together. So, who knows how much we'll be able to count on that.
so what do we do with also Emerson Hancock?
Yeah, well, I guess he'll be down in Tacoma.
Wow. Yeah. But you're right. That's why I'm saying you have now all this trade bait. Why not use it? Why not go get what we clearly have needed for the last 3 years and go add middle of the order bats? And so far, it hasn't happened. I know you threw out Cody Bellinger.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it happens. Or if we can go get Randy Roses and Rainier and pieces from the Rays, that'll be the cheaper option. But once again, those guys will be looking to sign long-term deals after the next offseason. So I don't know what the Mariners are doing. The Mariners are top 10 attendance. They make money. So I don't understand.
Well, see, that's the problem. They're happy with that.
Yeah.
See, and that's the thing. The attendance is great because as long as the fans actually think that the Mariners are going to have a chance, then they're going to come to the ballpark, and then, of course, Proto and, Hollander and whatever, they've already told us about the 54%. And of course, that's a running joke. I get that that's not exactly what he meant to convey, but sorry, he's going to have to live with that because that's what he put out there, even though it wasn't conveyed correctly. That's what the people heard, and that's going to be the running joke forever. Yep. He's just going to have to live with that.
Yep.
That 54% stuff. So as long as the people are coming out, that's what they're going to do. They're not going to spend a whole lot of money. They're not going to break the bank to get the guys that we feel that they need. And, even the players know it. I mean, Cal Raleigh, has he's doubled down on what he said earlier. He's meant what he said. He said what he said. He meant what he said. So, you should listen to some of these guys, I think.
And I've seen things on Twitter where I've seen that players have liked tweets and Instagram photos of people explaining this about the Mariners.
Yeah.
And I've seen some players like it. So it's like I said, at some point, players play to win, and that's always
right.
You can't sitting back here and being okay with just being mediocre, especially when these last 2 years you've made strides of finally being, a good baseball team. It's just not fair to the fans, and
it isn't.
It's almost kind of.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
It just reminds me kind of like when we lost the Sonics. Like it's just starting to remind. I'm starting to feel like we're going to lose the Mariners, but just dealing with the ownership group that doesn't care to put the money behind winning.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know, and plus it's so frustrating because the Mariners went 20 some odd years without making the playoffs. Exactly. and then we get teased. We make. Not only do we make the playoffs, but we win a round in the playoffs. You sweep Toronto in Toronto, and then the first game against Houston, you gave them what for a while until you blew it in the end, and then everything just fell apart after that. But still, the excitement and the anticipation of the next season, right? And then the next season comes, and it's like in the off season you pick up bums, right? I mean, you pick up like secondhand store guys. You went to Value Village and picked up La Stella and Wong and Hummel, guys like that. And it's like, what? Okay, I figure, then you figure, oh, we got Teoscar. All right, well, he can hit some bombs, whatever, And so we got excited, and then they went off to a poor start again, right? And then in the summer they caught fire, and then in the end. They disappointed us, and now we didn't make the playoffs again. So now they're telling us, well, we still got a young core. We're still anticipating. We're still going to be good. Blah blah blah. But we don't want to hear that. We want to hear that not only we're going to make the playoffs, but we're going to make a deep run in the playoffs.
Yep.
And that should, what? I don't understand. How can you be satisfied with making money in the regular season, have everybody come out, but when you get deep in the playoffs, you're gonna have sellout crowds.
Yep.
I mean, it's going to be packed.
Yep.
So why wouldn't you want to continue that? You're going to have more people in the stadium for longer. So instead of from March to October, early October, late September, you could have the crowd there from March to November.
Yep.
I mean, come on, that's even that. Yeah, I don't understand their thinking.
And it just doesn't make any sense to me that, I mean, and this is in any major sport. When you have a transcending player like Shohei Ohtani, and on top of that, you kind of have like somewhat of a connection between him with Ichiro, and you don't even attempt to go and try to lure this player that just tells me everything. Like,
yeah, and Seattle, the Mariners have had other Japanese players too.
yeah,
Ichiro,
exactly.
So Matt Sasaki, closer, was good for us. So it's like we've got pedigree as far as the Asian community,
Yep.
for the Mariners, which is a good thing because there's a lot of Japanese baseball players that are really good and should be over here and want to be over here and show their talents and wares. So we should cultivate that. I mean, man, come on. And the Korean players too.
Yep.
So shoot. I don't know, man. It's frustrating.
You got every right to be going off on the Mariners front office and ownership right now. Every right.
Yeah. Yeah. Hollander gets a pass because he's the GM, but people bypass him. They don't even pay any attention to Hollander. Everybody talks about Dipoto or Service. Because Service is the manager, of course, and then Dipoto is the president of baseball operations. Everybody thinks he's the GM. He is not the GM. The GM is Justin Hollander, and he mirrors and mimics Dipoto, and it's sickening, really. It's like he's his puppet, because Dipoto says something, and then a day or two later they'll interview Hollander, and he basically echoes everything he says. I'm like, oh my God. This guy has nothing on no thoughts of his own. Everything is Dipoto. I was like, man, yeah, I don't know. Same old Mariners next year. I'm afraid. Bargain basement hunting for bats is going to give us another team with a 225 average. I mean, our best hitter is what, 260, 270, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Come on. Anyway. So over the weekend, Saturday, we found out that we had the final four of the Heisman.
Yep.
And Penix, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, and Marvin Harrison Jr. were the final four. And when it was all said and done, and I said last week, I already know who won. Yeah, I knew it was going to be Jaden Daniel. Is it Jaden or Jalen? Okay. I knew it was going to be Daniels. And people were saying, oh, I don't know. I'm like, come on, man. They've already got it written in stone. They just didn't tell you yet.
Yeah.
But anyway, congratulations to him, because I don't want to disparage anyone from winning an award that, okay, his stats were outstanding. He didn't play the caliber of talent that Michael Penix had to. But you know what? It's not all about that. Jaden Daniels did what he did, and he was outstanding. So I'm going to give him his just due. Congratulations to him, and it's well deserved. Michael Penix came in second in the voting, about 100 and something votes, first place votes short, but he did win the fan vote. So I guess that's some kind of nice consolation.
Yeah.
And so, and of course, Bo Nix came in third, and Marvin Harrison came in, fourth as far as the top four. But still, all these players are phenomenal. And so kudos to all of them, and congratulations on their awards. Michael Penix Jr. did win the Maxwell Award, and people were saying, well, he won the Maxwell Award, he'll probably win the Heisman. It doesn't always work that way. Sure, the majority of the time it does, but hey, I just knew it wasn't going to happen. What about you, bro?
Well, when I saw Jaden Daniels' numbers, and kind of hard to argue with that. 1,000 yards rushing, what he did through the air. I guess my only question, and I know the Heisman is a little different of an award than other MVP awards,
Mhm.
but do you think that winning should matter a little more when it comes to the Heisman?
I I would think so, but it's not like Jaden Daniels was on a losing team,
Yeah,
right? I
agree.
mean, they were 10-3. They play in the Southeastern Conference, which everyone knows is the number one conference. He was also in his early years. He was a Pac-12 player. So
Yes.
if you think about it, if he'd have stayed at Arizona State, now look, I'm not saying that if he'd have put up those numbers with Arizona State, he would have been in the Heisman contention because I don't know, because you know how the bias it goes, right? But let's just say he did, and we had 3 Pac-12 players, and that would have been pretty phenomenal,
That would have been pretty
right?
cool.
Yeah. But anyway, still, regardless, he did his thing, and so yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with those numbers. Like I said, as a
Mhm.
quarterback, put up video game numbers.
Oh
I didn't
yeah.
know. Oh yeah, that's they got it right. I'm not saying they didn't get it right, but they got it right. It's just hard to argue those numbers. For Michael Penix, it was just unfortunate. Like I said, he was playing in the same year as somebody who put up numbers like that. If Jaden Daniels doesn't have that type of year, then I think
Mhm.
he's Heisman.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback what you just said about getting it right. I think they got it right if it was Daniels or Penix.
Mhm.
Either one, I think they would have gotten it right because it was actually just between those two, if you ask me. And
I
and the
agree.
vote and the vote showed that. So kudos. But he still got work to do. All he has to do is go out there on New Year's Day and show what he does, what he can do, Washington is, and get that W over Texas.
Yep.
And it ain't going to shut people up because I guarantee you, even if they beat Texas, they'll be underdogs in the championship game.
Yep.
Guaranteed. Either Michigan or Alabama, they're going to be the underdogs. They're going to know this, and they're just going to have to deal with it and just
Yep.
prove otherwise. That's all they got to do. All they got to do. They're playing house money now. All they got to do is just go out there and get it done.
Agree.
So, yeah. So anyway, we're proud of them because nobody from UW has gotten this far as the Heisman's concerned. I don't think. I think Steve Entman was also a finalist back in the day, but
Is
I
he
don't think he
the first
garnered.
UW Maxwell?
Huh?
Is he the first UW player to win the Maxwell Award?
Entman,
No.
probably.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah. You're talking about Penix? Yes, yes, no doubt. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So anyway, kudos for that. Sticking with UW, man. Shout out to the Huskies women. First of all,
Yeah.
9-0,
Yep.
right? And they just beat number 21 Wazoo.
Mhm.
UW's not ranked as of now that I know of
That'll change.
on the women's side yet. So they are 9-0. So I haven't seen a game and I haven't seen who they play. But look, you played 9 games, you won all of them, and plus you just beat a ranked team. So you got to be something.
Yep.
Right. So kudos for that. And we got to give kudos to the basketball men for beating Gonzaga finally. They've had some close calls. They came close with San Diego State,
Yeah.
right? And there was another close one. I forgot. I can't remember off the top of my noggin. But anyway, man, they hadn't beaten Gonzaga since 2005. So the Zags had won 7 in a row. Thank you, Doreen. Entman finished 4th in the Heisman voting. So Penix definitely is the top dog. Thank you for that. And also back to basketball real quick. UW Huskies. Did you watch the game at all?
No.
Okay.
I knew that game was on for the day. And then I came back and saw the final score, and it's funny. The kind of UW basketball team has been kind of staying under the radar this year, and they've actually gotten off to a pretty solid start, and in my opinion, probably one of the best starts over the last 3-4 years.
Oh, definitely. Yes.
For UW. I don't know if I don't know if Mike Hopkins knows his job is on the line or
Oh, he has to know. He
better
does.
roster for them this year. I don't know what it is, but this looks like a formidable Pac-12 team finally, and they should compete when the Pac-12 regular season starts. They should compete.
Right. So I went to the movies Saturday, and so when I was coming home, we were driving and listening, and the Huskies' second half had just started. They were down 3, then they were down 7, they were down 2 again, then they got down by 11, and I was like, oh yeah, typical. And then when I got home, they had gotten it down to 2. I'm like, oh, here we go. And then from the time I started watching to the end, it was close. But the thing about it is the Huskies still have issues with turnovers that I see. But the problem was, fortunately, Gonzaga was turning the ball over at just as much of an alarming rate as we were. And we were making the big shots that they weren't. And we were getting all the rebounds that they weren't. So that was the big difference in the game. And we weren't fouling. And I mean the Huskies. The Huskies weren't fouling like normal, and putting teams on the line and getting points that way with no time on the clock running off, which is usually a problem. And so I got to give kudos for that night, And you asked about Hopkins. Yes, he's still on the hot seat. It's not going to change. He's going to be on the hot seat all season because we have a new AD. And this is he's got to show the AD what's going on with the program in the basketball sense. Plus he's got another year, I think, or is this the last year? I think he does.
I think he does have another year.
Yeah, so it's just an audition, so he's got to get that taken care of. But listen, regardless, I want them to do well.
Yes, definitely.
I want them to do well. Finally, So let's get it done.
So does this win say more about what UW's doing this year, or does it say more about how talented and how lack of talented, I guess, Gonzaga is this year compared to other years?
I'm gonna swing the UW side.
Okay.
That they're much better because Gonzaga's ranked number 7 in the nation, right? So they're still the top ranked team with the top 10, right? They were ranked 7 at the time. So that's a top 10 team. So that means the talent is there regardless. So you got to say that UW has gotten better on their end, talent wise. And, so now they just got to maintain that, right? Okay, they can't rest on their laurels. Okay, they beat Gonzaga. Now let's show that we can beat other teams, even play well against also rans. Because, see, they got a problem against they play down to teams that aren't as good and shouldn't beat them. They're still losing to those type of teams or struggling with those type of teams. So if they could start beating teams handily that they should beat and then being competitive as well with the teams that are really good, then that tells me that the talent level has picked up and they'll be fine.
Yep. Agree.
Yeah. So we'll get to the NBA right after we hit the break here in a second. And then, after the NBA, and you take as much time as you need for that, because I'm not going to try and hold you back, bro, because you didn't get any time for the NBA last week. So
I wish I didn't have time this week because I do not want to talk about the in-season tournament. We're here and we're going to talk about
it. Oh, you're a good sport. Yes, sir. My guy. So when we come back, we're going to get into some NBA. O's going to be very happy to talk about the in-season tournament, as he just said. And then, of course, after that, we're going to get into some NFL. So stay tuned. Do not go away. We'll be right back.
Sure.
This is Paul Pearson, host of Star Time. And when I'm not shouting, "Ba-dee-ya" at city council meetings, I'm listening to Rainier Avenue Radio .world.
Celebrate the holidays in Columbia City at the Holiday Vendor Marketplace, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, December 16th. It may be cold and wet outside, but you can shop till you drop inside of the Columbia City Theater. 4916 Rainier Avenue South at the Holiday Vendor Marketplace, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., featuring a variety of unique one-of-a-kind items, many of them handcrafted by local vendors. There'll also be a performance by MVP, Michael versus Prince, which is an 8-piece tribute live band. There'll be a fire dance performance, DJs, and of course, a visit from Santa. It's the Holiday Marketplace, Saturday, December 16th, featuring vendors, music, food, fire dancers, right at the Columbia City Theater, and so much more. Hey, bring a toy down as well. We've got a toy drive going on to support Atlantic Street Center. All of this happening at the Columbia City Theater, Holiday Vendor Marketplace, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturday, December 16th. We'll see you there.
Tune in to Real Estate and Money every Tuesday afternoon from 2:30 to 3 here on Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Join your hosts Violetta Strash with John L. Scott Kent North and Tina Lombard with Guaranteed Rate Affinity. They'll help you navigate the waters of our volatile real estate market and offer you some guidance on how to make your hard-earned money work to make your dreams come true. Learn about current trends, get tips on financial matters, and have fun, interactive discussions about your home inside and out. That's Real Estate and Money.
Hey there! We got some beautiful programming here on Rainier Avenue Radio for your holiday season.
We have incredible programming right here on Rainier Avenue Radio. So much to offer. Music, shows.
K-Fox Night Beat, Fresh Juice, mental health awareness for men.
Why change the channel? Just keep it locked in on Rainier Avenue Radio. Jazz from the Cabinets playing jazz music, and Star Time playing holiday music. We got a new show on the air as well.
Weekend House Party.
Weekend House Party.
Weekend House Party.
And all of our other familiar programs as well.
The Reggae Hour, Phil Lamb Radio Show, and LidLine Sports.
Along with our special A Christmas Carol.
It's an actual radio drama that was recorded by Rainier Avenue Radio hosts and staff, featuring the president of a large media company visited by 3 ghosts, past, present, and future.
A Christmas Carol, a classic for us.
Bring in the holidays with your community radio station, Rainier Avenue Radio.
On behalf of Rainier Avenue Radio.world and K-Fox Night Beat, we want to wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year. Maligayang Pasko at manigong bagong taon.
Welcome back to the second half of the show right here on Rainier Avenue Radio.world. This is LidLine Sports. I am Pep, my man O standing by. Before we get into the NBA, I just wanted to give an update on a couple of NFL scores since we got 2 Monday night games going on. I don't know why we got 2. Somebody maybe can chime in. The Giants are leading the Packers 14-13, and the Tennessee Titans and the Dolphins are locked in a 10-10 tie, and that one is surprising to me. But anyway, what's happening in the world of the National Basketball Association?
Yeah, it was in-season tournament week. And
your favorite?
Yeah, my favorite. I do want to start out by saying I think that this was a success for it to be the first year of this. Adam Silver listens. He takes other people's opinions and figures out a solution. I know a lot of people have been complaining about the regular season is just hard to watch for 82 games.
Yeah, and it is.
Yeah. And with this in-season tournament, it made basketball fun to watch for a week in December. It was a really fun, hard-fought battles on all across the board. We got to see a young Indiana Pacers make it all the way to the championship after beating the Boston Celtics, who are a finals contender. And then we also got to see a seasoned veteran team, as in the Lakers, with LeBron James, arguably one of the best players to ever play basketball. It was great to see him get into the championship. As much as I hated to see it in a Lakers jersey, cool to see LeBron James playing in the first inaugural championship in Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena and he came to show up. The Lakers came to show up. Defensively, they have been a menace defensively over these last 2 weeks. Getting Jared Vanderbilt back, he has a very good job guarding over these last 3 games of the in-season tournament. It started off, they played the Phoenix Suns in the first round. He did a really good job guarding Devin Booker. Held him to under 25 points. He shot under 40% and had 7 turnovers. You got to give him a
that's
job.
excellent D then.
What was that?
I said that's excellent D then.
Exactly. I think go ahead.
Oh, I didn't say anything. I was just saying, yeah.
They beat the Suns and they played the Pelicans in the second round or the semifinals in Vegas, and he does a good job guarding CJ McCollum. But you know what? We saw that game because this was probably maybe the first time the Pelicans maybe had a wide audience watching them. Zion Williamson just looked noticeably out of shape. He doesn't get up and down the court, which how you would want him to, which is when he's at best. Couldn't guard. He's averaging 22 points a game this season. The field goal percentages are there. But like I said, just noticeably not in shape, Pep. What's your opinion on that?
You know, it's funny you mentioned that because I saw an article today, and it was a player. I can't remember who was talking about him, but he was talking about his rear end and how big it is, and he just and he wasn't even trying to be funny. He was just, it was kind of he was trying to make it a point. Well, it's just sad the way he's so talented, but he's just. It seems like he doesn't care about his body or how it looks, or is something's wrong. Now, I mean, is he not following nutrition advice? Because look, every team has a trainer, nutritionist, right? You would think, or at least. I guess they hire their own. I don't know.
Sure, regardless if that's true or not, Pep, I am sure the Pelicans have put whatever money invested in all that type of stuff for him. So if not every team does have it, I know he does. And I know it's appointed by the Pelicans. I know it is.
Yes, I totally agree with that. No matter how talented you are who you are.
Yeah.
And I say that, and I've said that many times on the show, especially in regards to athletes that have been in trouble with the law, but also goes for who you are as a person and what you like to do and how you take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And he's a special ball player, but he doesn't take care of his body the way we think he should, or it's evident that he's out of shape, right? You've seen it, we've seen it, but it seems like he's not doing anything about it. It's like he's just going about his business. He's happy with who and what he is, and damned if we care about. I mean, damned if we have anything to say about what he looks like. He doesn't care. He knows he can ball out regardless, and fortunately or unfortunately, how you want to look at it, he can ball out.
Yeah,
regardless of what he looks like. But as far as his health is the problem, right? Because going through the whole entire season, he always gets hurt. He's gonna miss 30 to 40 games. So is that going to be conducive to what the Pelicans are going to want to do going forward with this guy, right?
Yeah.
So they're going to have to make a decision after this season whether or not he's going to be worth the effort to invest more money in trying to get him to stay in shape, because you have to want it. And obviously at this point, it doesn't look like he does.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And I've never questioned if he wants to win. I do think he wants to win. I question his work ethic and having to take those necessary steps to go over and beyond to make sure that he is in good physical shape throughout the whole season, not just coming into the season, but throughout the season. It seems like that is always an issue with him. Like he comes into the season in shape, and then around November, it just seems like he's not following a guideline that I'm pretty sure the Pelicans have set up for him. And I read that there has been pushback from him on wanting on being consistent on his diet and working on his body. And like you said, it's sad because he is a talented basketball player, and he really can be the difference in the Pelicans making a playoff run. Now, with that being said, Pep, you make a good point too. The Pelicans are good. With or without him, they are a really decent team. And I'm sure that there will be some trade suitors out there if Zion does become available. They can get a lot for him to help them move forward to taking that next step. No, just like you said, it's what you think. Like, what can you deal with him? When do you just say enough is enough about this guy just not wanting it? And it's just, you're now in a max contract, a max extension. You're supposed to be the face of this franchise. What is it going to take for you as a basketball player to want to take that necessary step to keep your body in shape? Because I don't see. I tell people this all the time, Pep. I don't know if he plays at a high level past 30 years old. It just reminds me of like a Blake Griffin scenario. Blake Griffin tried to do his best to take care of his body, but just the way he plays, it was just inevitable that all the injuries were going to catch up with him. But that window of him playing at his peak, it was much shorter than what people thought it was going to be in. I just won't be surprised if by Zion's late 20s, if all these injuries start catching up with him, the athleticism starts diminishing, and we're just looking at him as him kind of like Blake Griffin, just falling into a role player sooner than what he should be and halfway out the league sooner than what he should be in. It just sucks for a talent like him. That's
so young.
That's so young that you can already see that possibly being the pathway, because he doesn't want to put in the max effort it takes to take care of his body.
I mean, I don't know what it will take to get through to him to do so. I mean, he's not the only one that's had weight issues in the NBA, of course. I mean, I could name, 100 players, Mel Turpin, Charles Barkley, of course, and many others, Felton Spencer, guys that were kind of big and, tractor trailer, rest in peace. But, so guys like that, have all the talent in the world, but, the buffet was just too tempting. I don't know. I might joke like that, but this is a serious issue. This is a serious issue because I want this man to succeed, to reach his potential, because for selfish reasons, we're fans and we want to see great players be great, and we want to see them at their best. Like LeBron. LeBron gets so much hate, and it's unfortunate. He gets hate because it's easy. The hate LeBron gets is because he's basically almost replaced an icon in Jordan, and people will never get past that. And so, look, I'm blessed to be able to have seen so many great players in my years of being alive. I mean, I go as far back as, Wilt, Lou Alcindor, Jerry West, Oscar. But here I am still here, and I get to watch, I got to watch Jordan, of course, Dr. J. I watched the ABA, right? And now I'm seeing LeBron at almost 40 years old still lead teams, be a team leader, and be effective. Not just be 40-year-old and still be on the team, but be 40 years old, dang near, and be the guy.
Yeah.
That's amazing, right? And I'm living to see that, me and many others. That's awesome. And I'm trying to embrace that.
And we saw that in the in-season tournament as he was named in-season tournament MVP.
Yes.
They beat the Indiana Pacers. So we also got to see, though, with Indiana Pacers, we kind of saw Tyrese Halliburton take that next step up with, them playing more immediate or games on TV. We saw the ascension of him, what he did to Boston in the semifinals. Like I said, he didn't have a good game against the Lakers, but people got to see that Tyrese Halliburton is He is the next superstar coming into this league with his play, and it was really cool to see how he's leading a young Indiana Pacers team to this point of where they're at now. They're top 5 in the East.
Good for them.
Not only that, they've made it to the in-season tournament championship. So yes, I love Tyrese Halliburton's game, and I'm glad the world got to see who Tyrese Halliburton is as a player and what they will possibly see with the Pacers moving forward. Now, the Pacers are just, to my opinion, they're 1-2 pieces away from actually really competing with some of those teams in the Eastern Conference. So I know I read that they're going to be aggressive come trade deadline, as they should, and they're going to try to get some more pieces to get around Tyrese Halliburton. And I love seeing a small market team go all in for their young superstar player now, not try to keep building through the draft and all that. This team is ready to go now. Go get those pieces, and let's maximize Tyrese Halliburton as a player going forward. So the Lakers, shout out Granville and your team, all your LA team. LA had a hell of a weekend. We can say that at least.
Yeah.
They will be hanging an in-season tournament banner. So I don't know what day what game that'll be.
I thought that was a joke, but okay.
Yeah, I think they will. So shout out to the Lakers. That's over with. So now we were getting off into December. The Minnesota Timberwolves are at the top of the Western Conference, and the Boston Celtics are at the top of the Eastern Conference. And I think there's no clear cut right now who I can really call a favorite. The Nuggets have struggled a little bit.
Yeah.
6 in a row, I believe, or something like that, coming into this game they just won today. The Boston Celtics have been playing pretty good. The Milwaukee Bucks are one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA, but they're streaking off games, trying to figure out Giannis and Dame. So there's no clear-cut favorite to this point right now. I think the Suns will be getting back Brad Beal tomorrow. So you will possibly see – I know Kevin Durant missed last game. So there will be a possibility that for the first time this season, you'll get to see the big three go up against the Golden State Warriors on Tuesday. The Warriors are over 500. Man, I don't know what's going on there. But, yeah, I think this has been a real fun start to the NBA season. Like I said, no clear-cut favorite.
That's good.
Yeah, and I like it that way.
Yeah, I kind of feeling that as well. I want to shout out to Orlando Magic's own and Seattle's own Paolo Banchero. He had 42 points last week, and then followed that up with another 24-point game. And then, of course, they got their 9-game winning streak broken last week, but that's okay. Nobody expected the Magic to be where they are right now. Banchero and Franz Wagner are balling. So they got, and then Jalen Suggs, he just got hurt, but he had been playing well, and Cole Anthony. So shout out to Orlando. And also I want real quick, as far as the tournament's concerned, the winners and I guess the runners up, their wallets got a little fatter too, right?
Yeah, winners won $500K each. They had fun in Vegas Saturday night. But the losers, they got some money too. I want to say $100K each per player. So
yeah, I'll take it.
Consolation reward for making it to the championship. But yes, that's what makes this so fun. And like I said, even the in-season tournament games that were throughout the regular season, they were pretty competitive. So like I said,
and I heard it was funded by Otani. I heard he
he can. But yes, it doesn't matter how much players are making, from all the way from Braun and AD down to your rookies and Max Christie. Those guys from Braun, they want to win for the guys that don't make that much money, because $500K.
That is awesome.
Yeah, and even for Braun. Braun said $500K is $500K. No way.
There you go. Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
Yes, I like what Adam Silver so far has done with this in-season tournament, and I hope to see it back next year.
All right, cool. Man, that was good stuff. Good stuff. I want to get to the NFL real quick before we end the show. I want to I want to let Rhonda Dorsey know that I did see her comment on the as far as the Monday Night Football, and I appreciate that. There's a deal with the NFL and ESPN and ABC to have more games, which include additional Monday Night Football per CBSSports.com. So I did see that. I just want you to know that. The NFL, boy, right now the Giants are up on the Packers. Now, who saw this coming? I mean, come on. 21-13 right now, the Giants are up. And then, of course, the Titans are now leading the Dolphins 13-10. Man, this is upset weekend.
Wow.
For a lot of, high school, it was an upsets. Garfield got beat, and then Rainier Beach lost to Seattle Prep, Roll Prep. Shout out to Granville. Good job. And, of course, Cleveland, my Eagles fly.
2 in a row, man. We beat Ballard and then Lakeside. So, yeah, we're starting to turn. Make a little turn.
Good stuff, man. Wanted to give you that real quick.
Thank you.
So, look, real quick, Dallas beat Philly 33-13. So Phillies lost 2 in a row. They got blown out 2 times in a row to the top 2 teams in the NFC. So people are saying now, are Philly frauds? Well, I'm not going to call them a fraud, but they just, foxtrotted around and found out.
Yeah.
Because Philly's been shaky for a while and barely winning and beating teams, barely. They should be blowing out, and they find it out that, when they're going to play elite teams, this is what's going to happen. So they're going to have to do a better job of being prepared come playoff time. I'm not counting them out, but, hey, they just found out they're not ready.
Yep.
San Francisco, I'll get to them in a minute. Dallas right now is hot. Dak is looking superb. I don't like the Cowboys at all, and it's well known. But look, I'm going to give them credit where credit is due, and they are balling. And I like Dak's. Here we go. I like that. I think it's pretty classy. Classy. I think it's pretty funny and clever. I like it. Peyton Manning had his Omaha. Aaron Rodgers has got his 319 for a while. I don't know if Russ still does it, but he had his Blue 80. Each of these guys have their own little monikers as far as when they call out cadence, because that's what it is. It's cadence for the guys on the line, so they know what's happening. So it's like, yeah, here we go. I like that. I think that's pretty clever because it's working, right? And CeeDee Lamb is balling. He's playing. He's going to be all pro. So hey, I don't like them, but I'm not going to hate on their success for right now because they're doing great. Yeah. And so Philly, they're going to come here next Monday night. And, folks, I want to plug KJ Wright's KJ All Day on YouTube for a hot second, because KJ and G. Scott give you some insights on the Seahawks that you're not going to get anywhere else. You're not going to get it on the local radio channels. And because they're going to cater to Seahawks as far as in the positive. But KJ and G. Scott give you whether it's positive or negative. Now, they're not going to call for jobs, and I respect that. They're not going to say, hey, this guy should be let go of that. I respect that greatly because I understand who they are and what they're doing. But I would like if you haven't listened to his show on YouTube, it's called KJ All Day, and it's easy to find. And I listened to last night's show. Some of them are longer than others. This one was an hour and a half. I'd say listen to the first hour and probably 10 minutes of it. The last 20 minutes you can just skip over or just forget. But man, that stuff was golden. And so I advise you to listen. And if you really want to know the inside scoop on what's going on, what their opinions are, but what's really happening in the Seahawk organization as far as the players and the games and the play calls and whatnot, check it out. And to a lesser degree, also Richard Sherman has his podcast. It's on a smaller scale. His is only for like about a half an hour, but he goes through a lot more games than KJ and G. Scott go through. But I'm telling you, today's show that I listened to was gold. And I advise you, if you like the Seahawks, if you like to listen to NFL strategy and explanations of plays and whatnot, check them out. Seahawks in San Francisco, Drew Lock got the call. And people were saying, oh, well, now we're going to find out what he's all about. Well, no, you're not, because the San Francisco 49ers have an elite defense.
Yeah.
You can't expect Drew Lock to come in there and just be the guy and say, okay, he's going to supplant Geno from now on because he's our guy. No, it wasn't going to work out that way. All you had to do was hope that he could maintain the game long enough where they could stay in it close enough. They won't get blown out, and they would have a chance at the end. And that's pretty much what happened.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the game, San Francisco started off the first 30 seconds of the game, they were down 7-0.
Yep.
And you're going to ask Drew Lock to come in here and compete with that. Well, guess what? His first drive ran right down and he scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
Bam. Okay. But like every other game the Seahawks been playing lately, their first drive is their best drive.
Yep.
And that's, we can, and then of course, DK was targeted 5 times only in the game, but once he was targeted, in the first drive, they didn't go to him again for a long time. And they've got to be able to utilize weapons that they have.
Question:
San Francisco has playmakers. Seattle has weapons, and that's a different dynamic. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just want to get this point. San Francisco has playmakers that it doesn't matter who you give it to as far as CMC, Kittle, Ayuk, Debo. They can make those plays and get it done. Seattle has weapons, but those weapons are only good as they could be found. And the problem is we don't get a chance to find them because we're not consistent enough on offense. And what I mean by that is on first downs and second downs, we're not getting enough yardage, whereas we're in third and long, second and long constantly. And when a team has you backed up like that, and they're behind the sticks more often than not, and behind the sticks means that they're second down and 13, third and 9, things like that. That gets you behind the sticks. You got to try to avoid that. And San Francisco, believe it or not, got 527 yards of offense. Do you know what their yardage per play was?
No.
9.9 yards per play.
Wow.
That's every play, basically, the whole game, they were getting a first down right off the bat.
Yeah.
Seattle's wasn't terrible, believe it. When I looked at it, I was like, huh? They were at 5.5, which means that's pretty good. If you start off your first drive or first down getting 5 yards, that's pretty good.
Yep.
But the problem is the second down, they get backed up or no gain. And then they're the third and mediocre again, right? And that's what the Seahawks' problem is. They got too many short plays where they're not getting any yardage, and they're predictable on what they have to do next. They can't run the ball effectively, even though they have superior running backs. They just can't get it going as far as the run game, which means what? They got to pass, and then of course the pass plays are pretty vanilla, right? They're not innovative, even though they did use San Francisco's own play on them. And when Colby Parkinson got that touchdown, that was a San Francisco play that they stole. It's a copycat league. So, yeah. So, Seattle's going to be, it's going to be tough for them. Tough sledding. They're not connected, especially on defense. It'll be shocking to me if they can win another game because, look, I see Tennessee now giving Miami problems. Seattle has to go to Tennessee after the Philly game, and they're home against Pittsburgh. Now, Pittsburgh's struggling. They should win that game. Seattle should. But they also could lose that game, right? Because for what's going on right now. And, of course, they end up with Arizona, and we know Arizona hates us. So who knows? So, man, the Seahawks, they're just in a conundrum right now. And of course, everybody's ready to get rid of Pete and stuff, but that ain't going to happen. Pete's going to have to either retire or he's got another 2 years, I think, on his contract, so he ain't going nowhere. But you know what? we're out of time. Sorry, O. I cut you off again.
That's all good. I just had a question. I'll ask you next.
Okay. All right. Save it for next week. Okay. On behalf of O, Daniel, we'll be back next week for our last show. Next week's going to be our last show of 2023. So be back next week on LidLine Sports right here on Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Holla.